Welcome back, trainers. So we have some great news as well as some kind of bad news. But the good news is we're going to be seeing Leafeon, Glaceon, Magnezone, and Probopass coming into Pokemon Co. fairly soon and in a way that you were probably not expecting. So we're going to be going over that as well as the bad news. That is going to be trainer level 40 accounts being deleted, but you can prevent this. So we're going to be going over that and how you can make sure to secure your account. And if you have this issue that pops up on your screen, to completely avoid it at all costs. So with that said, let's go ahead and hop into the bad news first, and then we'll talk about these new Gen 4 Pokemon that we all have been waiting for some time now. Alright, so the level 40 accounts that are actually being deleted if you complete this process. So when you first start an account, you will be met by Professor Willow, and then you'll go off to catch those starter Pokemon. Now, that is what's going to trigger the complete deletion of your account if you do go off and catch that starter. So with that said, yes, people are having these issues. They're logging in and saying their accounts are not even there. They go on to see Professor Willow and then catch that starter Pokemon. Now, I urge you to do this. If you get this issue and you see Professor Willow, do not catch anything. Attempt to log out, then log back in several times. If that does not work, uninstall the game and then reinstall it. And if that still does not work, contact Niantic themselves, because I have seen them reply on Reddit saying that the accounts can still be recovered at this point if you did not go through that catch process. So make sure that if that does happen to you, do not go off and get those starter Pokemon. That would be absolutely tragic if your account is deleted. And it's not like you can go off and sue Niantic or something for all that time and money spent on the account, because we have the TOS, which you basically signed playing Pokemon Go, and there is basically nothing you can do at that point. I don't know what Niantic would do if they would reimburse you in some way, not like send you a check or anything, but maybe like give you an account. I don't know how that works, but the best thing you can possibly do is to not even go off and catch that starter Pokemon. That's the trigger in which the deletion of the account is occurring. So keep that in mind. If you have this problem, don't have a heart attack quite yet. Your account isn't completely gone unless you did that thing with Professor Willow. Just log out and just stay off. Best thing to do is contact Niantic right away, and after that, just wait for them to reply and hopefully get that account back into a normal activity yet again. So just a little heads up for you guys, and if you're experiencing that, really hope that doesn't happen to you, but I thought I'd bring that to your attention because it's something very important. Now let's go ahead and talk about these new Gen 4 Pokemon and how they're going to be introduced. Something brand new to Pokemon Go. Alrighty, so we're over here on Trails' Twitter. Let's go ahead and take a look at his findings. This is very fantastic, very exciting as well. So new lure modules are coming into Pokemon Go here. The Glacial Lure. So this is a frosty lure module that attracts Pokemon for 30 minutes, especially ones that love cold weather. It can cause some Pokemon to evolve. So that is a dead giveaway for Glaceon right there. So possibly if you're in the distance within that Glacial Lure, then you will be able to evolve that Eevee into Glaceon. And then we have the Magnet Lure module, an electric lure module that attracts Pokemon for 30 minutes, especially ones that love magnetic fields. So there you go. It can also cause some Pokemon to evolve. And for this one, what do we have? That's going to be Probopass, right? That is going to be evolving from Nosepass. And then we also have Magnezone in the zone. Finally, I know a lot of you have been waiting for that, especially me, because I do have a shiny Magneton that I can't wait to evolve. Not only that, it's actually going to be fantastic. We're going to go over their stats. I know I went over Magnezones, but I did skip Probopass last time around. So this is actually the perfect opportunity to talk about it. Then we have the Mossy Lure module, a natural lure module that attracts Pokemon for 30 minutes, especially ones that love mossy scents. So that is going to be for Leafeon. It can cause some Pokemon to evolve, and there you have it. That is going to be it for the Eevee evolutions that we have been so desperately waiting for to come into Pokemon Go. When are we going to get them? This event, that event, the perfect opportunity was passed. Why didn't they release it? Well, here we go. New lure modules coming in, and they're going to kind of act like stones. In the main series games, you did have the specific stones for the Eevee evolutions. In this game, you kind of simply just evolve them, and there's that. But this time around, we're actually going to have the specific lure modules that you're going to have to put up. I'm pretty sure everybody's going to benefit around there, not just the person who dropped it. So take note of that as well. And then we have a couple new raid tasks down at the bottom there. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at Probopass here. And I see some people asking me, where is this app that I'm using? I will be leaving a link in the description so you can check this out yourself. It's actually going to be a website the Go Hub one, and it will prompt you to download this app. Once you are there, you can't really get it in any sort of Google Play or Apple Store. Anyways, Probopass here, let's go over. It's going to be a Steel and Rock type, max CP 2080, attack 135, defense 275. That's pretty significant. And then stamina 155. Are we going to see another Bastiodon coming in here? Because it has that CP potential to be low enough to show greatness in the Great League. And with that massive defense as well, it's also going to be very weak to fighting, just like Bastiodon. And if we take a look at the weaknesses, it's going to be extremely weak to fighting as well as ground and also water. Resisting poison, flying, normal, bug, dragon, fairy, ice, psychic, and rock types. All right, now let's go ahead and look at its moves, see what it has going on here. We have Spark and Rock Throw. Rock Throw is not bad. There we go. And then Spark, I suppose, for a bit of coverage up against the water weakness. And then we have, for the charge moves, Thunderbolt, Rock Slide, and Magnet Bomb. So Magnet Bomb is going to be something great for PvP, low energy, and you're going to be able to continuously spam it. Rock Slide also, you're going to be getting stab from that. Doesn't take much energy, and it also hits pretty hard. And then Thunderbolt as well for, you know, some coverage going on there. So Probopass is actually looking pretty good, guys. I'm thinking you're going to want this definitely for the Great League. Well, obviously, but it's going to show some greatness with that massive defense there, and in resisting quite a bit of different types. And it has a great move pool as well. So yeah, it's not looking bad at all for this thing, and we just might see a surprise coming in. You may not like the design, but when it comes down to PvP and usability, Probopass is actually going to be top on the list for sure, rivaling possibly Bastiodon, except for it just doesn't have any sort of fire moves. Bastiodon does have that flamethrower, making it great to go up against other steel types or grass types. So there is that, but nonetheless, as well as ice. But, you know, Probopass is looking fantastic. All right, since we've been over Leafeon stats quite a bit, let's go ahead and look at the other grass-type Pokemon that we currently have in the game and do a little comparison to see where it's going to be landing and see how much you're actually going to want it. Well, obviously, we're all going to want it, but to see how viable it's going to be going up against other grass types. So first off, this is going to be by DPS. We have Roserade at the top with Razor Leaf and Solar Beam sitting at 30.93 DPS. Then second is going to be Razor Leaf, Grass Knot, Roserade. Then Breloom, Bullet Seed, Grass Knot, Sceptile, Bullet Seed, Frenzy Plant, Exeggutor, Bullet Seed, Solar Beam, Alolan Exeggutor, Bullet Seed, Solar Beam. Then we have Venusaur, Vine Whip, and Frenzy Plant. Leafeon finally with Razor Leaf and Solar Beam, and then Razor Leaf and Leaf Blade. Then followed up by Venusaur with Razor Leaf, Frenzy Plant, and then finally at the bottom, Leafeon with Razor Leaf and Energy Ball. Now, we can't put other grass types on the list here, but we're just narrowing it down to the top best. Of course, we have Victory Bell, which is also a fantastic grass type, but I think this is a good enough visual for you here. And then TDO, just to see how long they can last. That is going to be from the Glaceon first. Now we have Pokemon that can put off the most damage and basically tank a bunch of hits and then just continue to truck on and put off damage. So that's going to be Venusaur up the top there with Vine Whip and Frenzy Plant. Then Leafeon with Razor Leaf and Solar Beam. Very nice. So it's going to be a bit of a bulky type Pokemon. So that's going to be great. And then another Leafeon with Razor Leaf and Leaf Blade. Venusaur, Leaf Blade, and Frenzy Plant. Alolan Exeggutor, Bullet Seed, Solar Beam. Exeggutor, Bullet Seed, Solar Beam. Roserade, Leaf Blade, and Solar Beam. Another Roserade with Leaf Blade, and then Grass Knot, Leafeon, Leaf Blade, and Energy Ball, Sceptile, Bullet Seed, Frenzy Plant, and then finally Breloom, Bullet Seed, and Grass Knot. So it's not looking horrible as far as the TDO. So it's going to be able to stick out that fight for some time, as well as putting off a decent amount of damage. So as far as PvP goes, it's actually looking pretty good because it does have Razor Leaf as well as Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade is not going to take that much energy, therefore you're going to be able to continuously spam them. So as well as that bulk, it's looking pretty good. So there you have Leafeon as far as where it falls amongst the other grass type Pokemon within Pokemon Go. Now, if you don't think that these stats are completely correct, I mean, that's fine. You can leave a comment and say whatever you need to say. I'm sure it's not completely perfect, but it's just giving you somewhat of a visual as to where it's going to be. All right, so now let's go ahead and look at Glaceon to see where it lands. Now, I'm a little bit confused here. We have Mewtwo at the top. This is going to be by DPS first. There's going to be quite a bit of repeats on this list regarding the Pokemon because they have so many different types of ice moves. I just wanted to include all the different kind of combinations. So as far as I thought, I was thinking Magnezone was going to be number 1, then Glaceon, then Mewtwo, or maybe Mewtwo will be behind Glaceon. So maybe this is not entirely accurate, but from what we have here, DPS-wise, Mewtwo at the top with Confusion and Ice Beam, sitting at 29.11. Then we have Glaceon with Frost Breath and Avalanche sitting at 28.93. Then Magnezone, Powdered Snow, and Avalanche 28.66. Then Weavile, Ice Shards and Avalanche. Glaceon with Ice Shards and Avalanche. The first one had Frost Breath. And then we have Frost Breath and Ice Beam, Glaceon. Then we have Jinx with Frost Breath and Avalanche. Psycho Cut, Ice Beam, Mewtwo. Glaceon, Ice Shards, Ice Beam. Then we have Cloyster with Frost Breath and Avalanche. Cloyster with Frost Breath and Blizzard. Articuno, Ice Shards and Blizzard. Articuno, Frost Breath, Ice Beam. Ninetales, Powdered Snow and Blizzard. Lapras, Ice Beam, Blizzard. Lapras, Ice Shard, Ice Beam. And then finally, Alolan Ninetales, Powdered Snow and Ice Beam. So, alright, that's DPS. Let's go ahead and look at TDO here. So we have Mewtwo at the top with Confusion and Ice Beam sitting at that right there. There are the numbers. And then Articuno, it does have a bit of bulk to it. That's why it is sitting at the top there with Ice Shard and Blizzard. It's not going to be your best ice attacker. There's going to be much better options like Magnezone, but it does have that bulk to it. Then we have Frost Breath and Ice Beam. And then Mewtwo with Psycho Cut and Ice Beam. There are the numbers. And then Magnezone, Powdered Snow and Avalanche. Glaceon, Frost Breath and Avalanche. Lapras, Ice Shard and Blizzard. Glaceon, Ice Shard, Avalanche. Glaceon, Frost Breath and Ice Beam. Lapras, Ice Shard, Ice Beam. Glaceon, Ice Shard and Ice Beam. Okay. So this is going to be how long they can actually survive in the battle. That's why the Lapras is up on the list there. Then Weavile, Cloyster, and then the rest of them. Then Alolan Ninetales is sitting at the bottom with Powder Snow and Ice Beam. So Glaceon's looking great as far as a DPS-wise as well as TDO. Frost Breath and Avalanche is the moveset you're going to be wanting to go with by far. And it's going to be looking fantastic. We all know Avalanche is a great move. So this is exciting, guys. I'm really happy that they're finally, bringing them in. I mean, it's been so long. We've been waiting. When are we going to get them? We thought the EV Community Day was going to be the time that they were going to introduce that. And that was so long ago. And now here we are. So much time has passed. And finally, we're going to be getting them. So Glaceon's looking fantastic. All right, now finally finishing off this video, we're going to give some love to Magnezone here. Let's take a look at the electric type Pokemon, see what we have going on. Yet again, a couple of different repeats because they have so many different electric type moves. I want to include them all so you can get that perspective. So starting it off with DPS, this is going to be the most damage per second here. We have Electivire sitting at the top with Thundershock and Wild Charge. That is going to be 30.53. Then we have Raikou with Thundershock and Wild Charge sitting at 30 DPS. Then Magnezone with Spark and Wild Charge sitting at 29.47. Not going to say all the numbers here. We're just going to go down the list. Then we have Raikou with Volt Switch and Wild Charge. Luxray with Spark and Wild Charge. Zapdos with Thundershock and Thunderbolt. Now, something about that Zapdos is the Thundershock was going to be for that special raid day. So don't try to TM in to get that. It's actually going to have Charge Beam currently. So if you do have that Thundershock from that raid day, hold on to it. It's going to be great. So there you go for the Zapdos. And then Magnezone yet again, Charge Beam and Wild Charge. Then Magnezone, Spark, and Zap Cannon. Zapdos with Charge Beam and Thunderbolt. Jolteon with Thundershock and Thunderbolt. Jolteon with Thundershock and Thunder. Alolan Golem with Volt Switch and Wild Charge. Volt Switch is horrible when you're going into raids. I mean, it can be okay. It does a lot of damage, but it's not something you really want to use, especially PvP too. And then we have Alolan Raichu with Spark and Wild Charge, and then Ampharos with Charge Beam and Zap Cannon. All right. So that was DPS. Let's go ahead and go TDO to see who's going to be able to stick in that fight the longest. Now, I'm quite surprised yet again with the results here. I thought that Magnezone would surely be up there, but I guess not. And I'll also have its stats on the side here. So we're going to have Pokemon that can last the longest in battle as well as putting off a great amount of damage. We have Raikou at the top with Thundershock and Wild Charge. Then another Raikou with Volt Switch and Wild Charge, Zapdos, Thundershock and Thunderbolt, Zapdos, Charge Beam, Thunderbolt. And here are the numbers. And then we have Magnezone finally with Spark and Wild Charge. And then another Magnezone with Charge Beam, Wild Charge. And another Magnezone with Spark and then Zap Cannon. So it's going to have a lot of electric moves, so that's pretty good. And then we have Alolan Golem with Volt Switch and Wild Charge, Electivire with Thundershock and Wild Charge, Ampharos, Charge Beam, and Zap Cannon, Luxray, Spark, and Wild Charge. There are the numbers. And Jolteon sitting at the bottom here because it's, not the tankiest thing around, but it's still a very good electric type Pokemon. Thundershock and Thunderbolt. Then another Jolteon, Thundershock, and Thunder. Then Alolan Raichu at the bottom with Spark and Wild Charge. And there are the numbers. So there you have Magnezone. It's going to be pretty good. Now, just because it's landing here or there on a list doesn't mean anything. When it comes down to PvP or a specific matchup in battle, the thing resists quite a bit of stuff. Let's go ahead and go over to Magnezone right now so you can see for yourself what we have going on here. So it is going to be weak to Fighting Fire and Ground. It's going to be double weak to Ground because it's going to be Electric and Steel type resisting. Flying, Poison, Steel, Bug, Dragon, Electric, Fairy, Grass, Ice, Normal, Psychic, and Rock. So it's going to be very viable for a PvP battle for sure. And there its stats: attack 238, defense 205, and stamina 172. Let's go ahead and go over to all of its moves so you can see it in its entirety. Charge Beam and Spark for the quick moves. And then for the charge moves, we have Zap Cannon, Flash Cannon, and then Wild Charge. So there you have it, trainers. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Share it if you want to. And with that said, I will be catching you all next time. Hopefully we'll be seeing Glaceon and Leafeon coming in fairly soon, as well as Magnezone and I guess Probopass, because did you see those stats? The thing's going to be a bit of a tank. And I'll catch you all next time.